Hi, it's Matt with Trout Soup. Today we're visiting the Arkansas River, just west of Pueblo in Pueblo State Park. Today I'm here with my fly fishing pal Chris, and you remember Dave from Texas. And Dave brought his friend's son Samuel, who's 15 years old and new to fly fishing. Ready to go ahead of the other guys, I headed over to the river, spotted some nice water, and noticed a couple of rainbow trout rising for dry flies, so we got Samuel in there, and he wasted no time catching his first rainbow trout. Now Samuel is a bass fisherman from Texas, so he's not used to working with a fly rod and these delicate tippets and small leaders. He'll get it. Now, I've never fished this tailwater section west of Pueblo, but from my experience, fishing in the wintertime, midges are the most important thing. So after Samuel and Dave each caught a fish, within the first 15 minutes of us being there, I wetted my line with a nymph, actually an emerging midge pattern that I tied myself in black and red, and wasted no time laying into my first rainbow of the day. And after successfully releasing this guy, the hatch was on and the fish were coming in like gangbusters. This upper section of the tailwater is heavily pressured, especially in the summertime, and heavily fished. We noticed a few guys fishing downstream. You can use bait in this section. So we headed on downstream, Sam to my left, me wading out into the middle, and Dave on my right. There was a midge hatch, and they were sipping emergers right on the surface film. I've sped this up about 2 times speed. My purpose here is to show you some of my fly casting movements. Very few false casts are used. My elbow remains fairly tight to my body. My left arm also fairly tight to my body, stripping in the line so that I can achieve that dead drift that is so necessary when fishing midges. Okay, the hook set on that fish was quick yet precise. I believe that hook sets, both in dry fly fishing and nymph fishing, can be achieved efficiently and comfortably. Every fly fisherman has her or his own way of setting the hook and false casting. Take a few minutes out of your day when you're on the river and film yourself casting and setting the hook if you can. This is a great way to see how you're doing. Do whatever is most comfortable for you. I believe that that's a very important thing. As long as you're comfortable on the river and you have confidence in your flies, you're going to be successful. Proper fish handling techniques and release are a must. Here are some recommendations, especially if you'd like to get that all-important photo. Water dripping from the fish in a photo is a good sign. You really do want to keep your fish wet. Minimize air exposure. Whenever you're ready for your fish photo, lift the fish out of the water, snap your shot. Sometimes, like in this one, they self-release. Here's some old photos from the archive starting in 1991. I quickly moved away from these old grip and grin photos. All 3 of these fish, over 20 inches long, are either in the water or have water dripping from them. Even though these next 2 photos are of the old trophy pose style, which I'm glad I got away from, these fish are dripping wet or very close to the water. occasionally you'll have the fish of a lifetime, like this 27-inch cutthroat. I didn't mind being in the picture for this one. Remember that dead drift that I said was so important? You're gonna need it when fishing these tiny midges. Watch in this next section of video where my line, the fly line itself, meets the water and I'm stripping it along. If that fly line moves past you and downstream, you know that you'll have too much slack in the line. If you're stripping it too quickly, you're going to be stripping the fly along and producing your own drag. Here's 3 times speed for you. And here's normal speed, working my way from nearest to farthest upstream. Today I'm using a little bit longer tippet than I normally use. I am using a 10-foot tippet section, tapered down to 6X, fluorocarbon, and with about 45 to 50 feet of fly line out, I'm casting upwards of 60-65 feet here, so relatively short casts for this long stretch of river. I've slowed this down to about half speed for you, so you can really see that fly line and how it's drifting with the current. That's how you want to make your strips. It's not going to be perfect, but strip it so that it's comfortable to you. I didn't realize it at the time, but this little video with my lens perched atop a rock right in the middle of the stream shows how you can effectively fish right in front of you. All the smooth stretches, the currents, the riffles, the pockets, and then work your way upstream and attack that main section of river by going from nearest to farthest fairly effectively. Missed a strike right there. Have you ever wondered what the trout see and what they can hear underneath the water? The camera is resting on the river bottom about 2.5 feet down and looking straight up. The car you hear is over a quarter mile away, and those footsteps are mine, coming from about 50 feet away. Here I'm going to show you how to tie up a simple midge emerger on your own. Start with a size 20 or 22 wide gape hook from Daiichi, Tiemco, or any other manufacturer you like. Take a few thread wraps in black. You can use the UTC 60 or 70, something fine. Wrap down around the bend of the hook, trim off your tag end. Next, you're going to want to build up a tapered body on this little midge emerger. Take a few thread wraps back over your initial wrap, then build up that body section going back down toward the bend of the hook, and then go back up, building the taper. After you have the taper that you desire, grab some tinsel, clip off a little piece of UTC sparkle braid. I used a thick piece, but I would actually recommend using a fine thread. Tie that in, pull it back just enough so you can secure it in there. Wrap around it to cover it up, and then you're going to take a few wraps with the sparkle braid to create your little hot spot head. That would be the thorax section. Now the fly that I was catching all the fish on today, the Arkansas, was a red sparkle braid. After you've added in your sparkle braid, you're ready to clip off your tag end, and then you're done. You're ready for a 3-turn whip finish, and your fly is finished. Y'all remember Dave? He came all the way up from Texas, and he was rewarded with a big fish of the day, this beautiful rainbow trout. Good work, Dave. Evening time here in Colorado starts around 3 o'clock. With all these midges and micro mayflies hatching, it was hard to get away from fishing to all these risers. Rainbow trout here in Colorado have gone through some tough times, but they're on the mend. After almost complete decimation in all of our streams and rivers in Colorado throughout the late 90s and into the early 2000s, Colorado Division of Wildlife found the Hofer strain of rainbow from Germany, who had developed a natural resistance to the whirling disease parasite. Moreover, the Hofer strain of rainbow grow very rapidly. So, with the Hofer strain resistant and resilient to the whirling disease, Colorado Division of Wildlife crossbred the Hofer strain from Germany, along with the remaining populations, old descendants of our wild rainbow trout from the Colorado River. And they definitely like to jump.
Took my first breath where the muddy rises, spills into the Gulf of Mexico, where the skyline's colored by chemical plants that put bread on the table of the working man, where the working man does his best to provide safety and shelter for kids and a wife, giving a little of his soul every day, making overtime to keep the wolves away.
Nice, Sam.
I was barely 13 when the company.
A great way to end the day for Samuel by catching and releasing his rainbow trout all by himself before he and Dave had to hit the road and head on back. I hope to see you guys again soon. And a thumbs up for Samuel from a new angler friend that we met on the river, Jeff. With the hatch still in full force and Samuel and Dave on the road, Chris and I went back to it till we had nearly no light left.
For the next few years, Dad was sick as a dog, but he made a recovery just to spite the odds. The settlement came and we moved out of town, where the sky isn't heavy with refinery clouds. Yeah, he's still alive, he's doing good, he's in his 50s, but the money's running out, and he's pinching for pennies. So I'm going for broke with every song I play, 'cause now it's my turn to keep the wolves away.
We're not the only fishermen here at the river today. This great blue heron is looking for a rainbow trout of his own. Sunset is upon us and it's time to head out. Both Chris and I walked out with satisfied grins on our faces. So you might ask, how would I rate this fishery? Well, I did about 4 hours of driving for about 4.5 hours of fishing, and I can't wait to get back here with Chris on the water, fishing midges and emergers for these jumping rainbow trout again. I hope you enjoyed our video today. Please subscribe.